those stories sometimes hurt.
All of this revisionist, woke curriculum, you are not going to do this to our children.
It's anti-American training that vilifies white people and demands they apologize.
Defunding schools that teach critical race theory and gender ideology. CRT for short is a core idea that race is a social construct and that racism is not merely the product of individual bias or prejudice, but also something that is embedded in legal systems and policies.
Another element here, you pointed it out with critical race theory and CRT. Another one that is meant to defund those aspects and root that out in the education system, saying that it prohibits federal funding of the indoctrination of children, which includes radical gender ideology, critical race theory in the classroom. Goes on to say that the Attorney General will work with state attorneys and local district attorneys to file actions against teachers and school officials.
This one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you.
Got so much to discuss. It ain't even funny, y'all. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. So if you will, y'all, please take the time right now to hit that like button. If you ain't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. It is very important that we get this subscription up. And also, one of the most important things for you to do is to share this message. We really, really, really want to get this message out there to the masses of us so that we can understand what's going on currently right now in the world that we are living in. That is my objective. That is my purpose. That is my calling. That is my passion. That is my desire to keep you informed. I do the deep dives. I do the deep dives. I go in and find out what it is that we need to know about to keep us in the know. So a lot of people would rather turn a blind eye to things, or they'd rather keep you dubbed down and dumb or ignorant to things because they don't want you to have a reaction to it. And they benefit from your lack of understanding. And until they're ready for you to react to certain things, then they control the narrative by keeping you misinformed or less informed. So as a determined black man, as I tell y'all all the time, I don't have a racist bone in my body. My thing is, I'm all about my people. My people have been suffering for way too long. We are at the bottom of the barrel in every race in life besides being last, you know. And we are, and that's not an insult to us from me, you know what I'm saying? But it is just being brutally honest. Like, it's time for us to wake up, black people, so-called black people. I love you. I love you. I love you more than you would ever understand. And that's why I'm willing to put my life on the line. And that's why I'm willing to go in deeper and deeper to find out the constructs that have been constructed against us. And that's the only way that we would ever be able to truly set ourselves free. And I did say set ourselves free because it's no greater time for us to understand this than now. A lot of us have put our faith in these different parties, whether it be red or blue, you know what I mean, Democratic or Republican. And now you have an even greater divide in America amongst men and women, but especially a race divide. It's been a race divide. And so what I'm about to discuss with you right now will only give you a mind's eye view as to what is really going on and how what's going on will affect us all. And that it is important for us to know, not to just turn our head like it's not happening. So your power is in knowing and being able to act without waiting until the moment of catastrophic events or whatever may take place and then having a reaction. It's better for you to be prepared for war than to get ready for war in the midst of war. So right now, what I'm telling you is there is a war brewing underneath the surface. And that war, it stems from fear. It stems from the fear of a certain group of people being afraid to lose their particular hope or their particular place or position in this world. But I'm here to tell you that fall, that flight, that fail that they're trying to miss is inevitable. Yes, the fall of Babylon, I should say, it's not willing or if it's when willing. And so right now what we on the course of is a downward spiral and something that's fallen totally out of control. And in order to keep you under control or under a spell, I've discussed with y'all many times what I think about English language and spells and things of that nature, but we're not going to jump into that. We're just going to keep it on course. To keep you dubbed down, to keep you from actually questioning or looking further into it, they fill us with lies. They fill us with lies. They tell you what you want to hear. That's either side. They tell you what you want to hear. They ping pong off each other. You look at one side as the good side or the evil side because you hear them with the bickering and taking all these shots at each other. You know what I'm saying? And so they demonize one another. And so it leaves the American public in a seesaw. Because at this point right now, like I said, a lot of these reactions are strictly out of fear. So let me start with the first thing, because I know a lot of people have been talking about things that really don't matter. Like, I mean, even a lot of you brothers, I'm really disappointed in you. You know what I'm saying? Because I've noticed a trend, and also a TikTok that's gone viral based off of misinformation, false information. Not to say that it won't come true, or that it's not on the plans or the agenda, but it just hasn't happened this far. But we seem to get distracted very easily, which leads us to turn a blind eye to what's really in hand, what's really going on right in front of our faces. So, as many of you already may know, Trump signed an executive order day one to terminate DEI. That's diversity, equity, and inclusiveness. That bill was created to help aid a particular group of people, you know, in layman's terms, black and brown people. Because it was not just something to do. It was done because there was a foreseen problem.
The purpose of critical race theory is to provide Americans with a way to understand the legacy of racism, even though those stories sometimes...
All of this revisionist, woke curriculum, you are not going to do this to our children.
The best learning for students about social studies and about our democracy and our country is the learning where students can really grapple with the issues and really come to a deeper understanding of how our past...
It's anti-American training that vilifies white people and demands they apologize.
Teachers across the country are caught in the middle of the latest flashpoint in America's culture war, critical race theory. So what exactly is it? And why is there a push to ban it in schools?
Critical race theory is a body of ideas and a set of approaches to understanding the history and the present of American society that looks at the ways in which racial unfairness have been woven into the fabric of our institutions.
In other words, critical race theory, or CRT for short, is a legal academic framework centered on the idea that racism is systemic. It first started to coalesce in the 1970s, when Black, Hispanic, and Asian legal scholars were researching the persistence of inequality despite the landmark legal victories of the civil rights era.
The legal scholars undertook a set of analyses and investigations that were aimed at trying to make sense of the puzzling persistence of racism in our legal system, in our political system, in our economy.
CRT has been studied in fields like sociology, economics, and political science. It's been used to examine issues such as housing and educational segregation, unconscious bias, and criminal justice reform.
Contrary to what often critics portray as sort of judging people intrinsically as being racist or not, or holding people responsible for, slavery in the past, it is actually to open up a conversation of how we all inherit and live in a society sort of beyond our choosing, right? We didn't choose where we were born or what racial group we were part of, and yet we have this common history. How do we understand that history? What does it mean for us? Those are the sorts of questions that critical race theorists were trying to grapple with.
The racial reckoning spurred by the police killing of George Floyd brought the decades-old framework back into the spotlight, as some schools sought to implement reforms that better address race in classrooms.
I think the thing that critical race theory would add to that conversation is that we not sort of confine that horrific example to Derek Chauvin, but to think about how, there were other law enforcement officers present, including officers of color, who stood idly by. And so that pushes us to think about, this phenomenon as not simply one of, racism by whites against blacks, right? I mean, it makes us think more critically, more engaged, more seriously around, well, why do these practices happen?
The push against CRT gained steam under former President Trump, when he directed federal agencies to end any diversity trainings related to critical race theory. Though ultimately blocked on First Amendment grounds and rescinded by President Biden, the fight over CRT at the state level is still in full effect.
The focus on CRT is a way to latch onto a concept that very few people sort of really understand, which sounds kind of scary perhaps to someone not, trained in what it means, and latch onto that as a kind of football in this sort of ongoing fight over, the future of this country with regard to racism.
As of mid-June 2021, 21 states have introduced bills attempting to restrict the teaching of critical race theory and or impose limits on how race is discussed inside the classroom. And those limits are often vague.
And instructors, educators, especially at the K through 12 level, will just not go there, will not run the risk of upsetting parents or, being misunderstood or drawing the ire of, lawmakers.
In Texas, for instance, House Bill 3979 says teachers must explore current events from multiple positions without giving, quote, deference to any one perspective.
There's language in this bill, like teachers need to present a balanced perspective on current events, for instance. They have to do their due diligence to present multiple viewpoints. But what happens if they're talking about an issue in the classroom and they try to present multiple viewpoints, but the student comes home and tells their parent about the lesson that day, and the parent thinks, well, they didn't do a good enough job of presenting this viewpoint. So who decides when the teacher has done an adequate job of presenting multiple perspectives on an issue? It saddens me and disappoints me that instead of really embracing this opportunity to confront our nation's past and to tell authentic and more accurate narratives about experiences of diverse people in this country, that we're looking to sweep it under the rug. We're looking to erase it even further from our memories.
So DEI was created to help aid an issue with the hiring practices and the monopoly that was taking place here in America. If you wanted these particular jobs, you had to be a particular race of people. You had to be a particular color. You want to be accepted into certain institutions, certain schools, you had to be of a certain race, a certain color. So that construct was noticed. And so one of these parties took it upon themselves to come up with policy that would combat that and that would possibly help us in this war, or this race, I should say, to close the racial wealth gap. Because capitalism is the way, you know what I'm saying? So like you can't close the racial wealth gap without giving the group that's being dominated an opportunity to sustain, an opportunity to actually make money, capital, to capitalize. So in order to get our feet in the door, they created this policy. And so that companies would be mandated to hire so many of these minorities. So, I'm not saying that black and brown people were the only ones to benefit from DEI, but I'm saying that it was created in that they created because it was a problem. So that problem still persists. That problem is still pretty much the same as it was when that law was created, when those policies were created. It's gotten a little better, but not tremendously. However, if we're saying that it was a problem to begin with, and that problem still is unresolved, but this is good policy because it at least gave us a small percentage to the upside, then how is it possible, what is threatened, or what purpose do you say that we no longer need that? Only if maybe perhaps you are trying to fulfill something of another agenda that you're not discussing with. So I'm led to believe that this administration has no love for us. And I don't think that the last one had any love for us either. The only difference is about with Donald Trump, this administration, I should say, is that, as I've said many of times, because I told y'all I am not a Trump supporter. think he's a biggest, a racist, all types of things I can speak. But I have to be honest with you all. I have to be honest with myself. I like the fact that he puts things out there that no other president or nobody of his caliber has ever done before. So here's the wild card, as I've told y'all before. And in order to attack your enemy, or in order for you to get an upside on your enemy, one of the greatest arts of war is to know thy enemy. Well, if your enemy or the people that are constructing these different systematic things that are keeping you oppressed and down and without never shows his hand, keeps his hand tucked under the table, it never gives you an idea of how that thing was constructed or is continuing to be constructed. If you are not given anything to build a case, then what do you have? How can you build at all? How can you even begin to build? So what I think that Trump's Eliminate DEI has done is also put cracks in our foundation. And if any of you know anything about, just the slightest about construction, or the construction of a building or a house, anything with a foundation, then if you crack the foundation, the structure will soon thereafter crumble. It will fall. It will come tumbling down. So this is tremendous, y'all. This is really important. It's way more important than talking about having to split the taxes with your baby mama or whatever, you know what I'm saying, that this big TikTok went viral about, which I think the guy came out and said that he never thought it would have went this far. It was just a lie. He just tried to throw it out there to see what would happen. Everybody's doing all types of stuff to go viral. Everybody's doing it. I mean, even some of these people I'm speaking in reference to, they use social construct. They use social media to push certain ideologies, certain ideas. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that Elon Musk bought Twitter because he said, he had a thing, a bone to pick about freedom of speech. And so in him doing so, as I told you on another video, it exposed a lot. It exposed a lot. Now, am I just an Elon fan? No. And the more I learn about him, the less I am. But I also take from that a lot of information, just like I told you about Trump. A lot of y'all might say I'm a Trump supporter just because I say I like the things that he does, for the simple fact it provides me with information. Information is key. Information is powerful, especially when you can take that information and put it into action, which is what I'm trying to convey over to you all today. I don't want to just give you lip service. I want to give you information that can help put us in a better situation. This nation right now is on a decline. It's not, like I said, it's not if it's going to fall, it's when. And right now it's free fall. And a lot of this stuff is just fluff and distraction to keep you from understanding that, to keep you from taking a deeper look into that. Just the same as him defunding underserviced community. Now, who do you think will be most greatly targeted and harmed by the defunding of underserviced community? I'm not saying that none of them are poor or living in underserviced communities, because by far they are the majority, right? So by far it will be more numbers leaning towards them than it will be us, but per capita. Would it strike you if I told you that there's a study that shows that 400 of the richest white men, I'm just gonna say it like this because I don't want the infraction. Would it strike you? Would you believe that if I told you 400 of the richest white men make up cumulatively, together, collectively, they make up more wealth than our entire race? It's about roughly 40 million black people, so-called black people in America. It only takes 400 of them to make about, collectively, our entire bottom line. That's not only frightening to me, but that's one of the most harshest realities to face. And I ask myself, how is it that we can spend all these trillions of dollars every year? How do we continue to be tricked out the money we work so hard for? The money that we get taxed on the top and bottom and in the middle for. How is it that we haven't waken up yet? And how is it that we can allow now a president to come in and to start all this upheaval and uproar, but still nobody get the picture? Still nobody get the picture. Not only did he terminate DEI, not only is he targeting underserviced communities, he also has terminated or signed executive orders to terminate several laws that protect our civil rights. I mean, things that our forefathers, our ancestors fought and died for. I mean, literally bled out, lost blood and life. Then what's even funnier or not so funny, because I just laugh a lot of times to keep from crying. But it's funny that the inauguration, a celebration for the president, the inauguration of our most highest position in the land, also took place on a day that has been set aside that we celebrate, which is also the day of the assassination of one of the greatest, or I'll say the biggest black civil rights activists ever, Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., which I'm not 100% fond of a lot of things. I can go into a lot of details about and as to suggest why they always put Dr. Martin Luther King ahead of all of our other civil rights activists. Perhaps because he actually, a lot of his early messages were more beneficial towards the motive that they had anyway. You know what I'm saying? It was more beneficial towards the plans that they were putting in place anyway. So, to keep us docile, to keep us quiet and low key, and turn the other cheek, non-violent. Yeah, so that fit the construct. Also, birthrights for immigrants. So if you're an immigrant and you come here, if you're a legal immigrant, you come here, you give birth to a child. That child is born on U.S. soil, becomes a U.S. citizen. It's been, in our Constitution for a while now, terminated it. You find out that you come here from illegal immigrants, your parents are illegal immigrants, you are considered a legal immigrant, and you are bound for deportation. Why should that concern us as blacks? Well, one, it should concern us because this country has always tried to consider us not to even be citizens. And that's easy to see with all of the different classifications that they've given us and the fact that they want to erase our history. They don't want us to know who we really truly are. So why would that be so? To say that we all shipped over here on ships, and that would all lead to say that we are not citizens, and so that we can be deported as well. So that's why black people got to be careful with the things that they endorse or they promote. Because I see a lot of you guys out here promoting that, like, hey, get them out of here. I'm not fond of illegal immigration. Don't get me wrong, because it does bring about a problem. But we have a lot more bigger issues going on in this world and in this country, and that has always been an issue. And actually, since Trump started raving about it and building that wall, all you got to do is look at the numbers. They have been coming in by more and more numbers and by the drove. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it ain't stopping. And it ain't going to stop. Now, you might buckle down on it. But just like when you put up that wall, you had more to come in then. The more you create laws or different things, they're going to just find other ways around it. Because, well, maybe. But on the other hand, maybe not. Because as I told you, this country is on the way down. And so the things that this country had to offer before, a lot of these people are going to see that, it's no more. So it's no sense of me coming to America, searching for the American dream, when now it's an American nightmare. That's what we are living right now. And I'm not saying that it can't get any better, but it might not happen in this lifetime. And I ain't trying to pump fear. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I've had some close friends of mine, even family members, to tell me I need to stop talking like that. Say that I'm inciting fear and I must be of the devil. No, it's the God in me. It's the love in me that we're supposed to have for one another. To give each other
wise counsel,
words of encouragement. Give each other nuggets and information that can help us prevent from being put in even worse situations. So, damn what they say. I'm just going to keep doing what I do because this is what God has chosen me to do. And whatever they got on their mind, to me, they working for the end. You know what I'm saying? If you telling me to shut up, then you got to be working for the end. So, if you're feeling what I'm talking about, regardless of whether you understand it yet or not, all you got to do is subscribe to the channel. I promise you, if you subscribe to my channel, if you subscribe to this channel, and you continue to follow me, then you will grasp a greater and greater understanding, which can help you prepare better and better and more for what's to come. But there is no doubt in my mind that there are worse days ahead. It's ugly right now. It's even bigger than just Trump. I'm telling y'all, it's way bigger than Trump. This is almost like just a little small key in the bucket. Because this country is sliding faster than y'all believe, than you would ever believe. You would have to do research for yourself to see, because they're not going to tell you on the news. I tell many people that I talk to, close friends and family, they watch the news religiously. They led to believe everything that they see on the American news channel. And once again, the reason why I like Trump, not Trump himself, but the things that he does. he exposes that. He was the first one to ever come out that I can remember, that I ever heard, to expose media, news outlets, calling them fake news. Yeah, he uses those outlets to get that media out there, true enough. But he actually opened my eyes to see what he mean by fake news. Why did he keep saying it? Because I know nothing that he says or does, it's just random. Like a lot of y'all think that he just this dumb guy doing a bunch of dumb shit. And now a lot of y'all even think the same thing with Elon. No, I don't think he's quite as genius as he puts on to be, or people give him the credit to be. But I think that he's much smarter than what a lot of other people think that he is, because he does a lot of idiotic things, just silly things. And we're gonna get to that in just a minute. But you know, the fact that he opened those files to me, man, just shows really how silly Trump could be as well. But it's a smart political move, man. Trump he's a trump card. He's a wild card. He's a monster when it comes to the way that he moves. And so his moves are calculated, whether you think they're silly or not. It's a construct. It's something that he's gonna get a reaction from. And the reaction that he's gonna get is already anticipated. But you people sit back and you overanalyze or you underanalyze. You don't realize that this is all a part of his plan to cover up for something that's bigger. So, you know, like I said, subscribe to the channel and continue to follow, and I promise you, I will lead you to the promised land. I am a determined black man. I'm determined to help free my people. And I'm not saying that all white people are bad. I promise you they're not. There's a lot of them that are changing their heart. You know, some of the sons of the fathers that have been, you know, pushing racist stuff, that have the racist ideas, inciting violence in America and against certain people. They sons turning on them. And I can show you that. I'm show you that.
What your father did at the time, what you reported, and why you're so afraid right now.
Well, at the time, my father was really getting into all this, 3% militia movement following the events of 2020 leading into 2021. And that quickly escalated in 2020, bleeding into January 6th, talking about what he's going to do. So I informed the FBI just to alleviate a lot of the paranoia and unknowingness that I had at that time. And I didn't realize it, but until January 5th, when he left, I did not know he committed to going to something like January 6th. And he was already on the way. And he then stormed up the Capitol steps with body armor, zip cuffs, and a handgun on his side, and came home clicking his heels in joy and validation over what had happened. And it was a terrifying moment in my life to think that happened and happened to our family. It's unreal to even think about now.
So Jackson, how do you understand why your father was drawn to these groups?
I understand it to be, the fear mongering that the Trump administration really put on these people. I understand capitalism can atomize people and families and make them feel so alone and destroyed. But, post 2016, my family really had a huge crisis when the price of oil collapsed. My father lost his job from overseas. And when we hit back in America, we were picking up bed frames off the side of the road, and sleeping on the same blow-up mattress, downloading movies from Netflix, bringing them home and watching them on the TV because we had no internet. And leading from the Trump administration from 2016 onwards, my father really gripped onto what Trump was saying, really gathered what he was offering and trying to give to my family. Of course, that only led to him running up the steps of the Capitol with a gun on his waist and years in prison. But I understand it to be that he was trying to defend my family and do what he thought was right, but that inevitably led to what it is now.
Well, and Jackson, but following this pardon, you said that, quote, I can't imagine what he's going to be willing to do now. It could get a whole hell of a lot worse. Explain what you fear might happen.
So to look at how I'm feeling now, we have to look back post January 6, 2021, is my dad came home more proud than ever for doing something that a man who never knew he existed told him to do. And now he knows he exists. Donald Trump gave him that presidential pardon to validate and justify his actions. And the validation now, I'm sure, is swimming through the crowds of the people who participated in January 6th. Like, that is dangerous, to justify actions like that and to completely validate them is going to be deadly. Not only for me, my situation is explosive and some would call a dramatic, visualization of what's going on in this country, but there are thousands and thousands of people who are just like me, who do not have the same privilege I do of being able to drop everything, move, buy a handgun. All this stuff is very lucky for me to have the opportunity to secure myself. Other people don't have that luxury, and I fear so much for them.
Because, I mean, you know, even when it came down to the selling of slaves, you would wonder how could a certain small group of people come in and take another group. And I know a lot of y'all already know this, but yeah, some of us sold each other out. So just like we sell each other out, you know what I'm saying? They can have some of them that actually feel where we coming from. I always tell y'all, one of Dr. Martin Luther King's best friends was a white preacher. I think his name was John Brown. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I know that man suffered at the hands of his own kind just because he was what they call an end lover. You know what I'm saying? And he stood for what was righteous above all. You know what I'm saying? That's me. No matter who you are, no matter what color you are, I'm all about righteousness. The reason why I call myself a determined black man, which I understand, I ain't no black man at all. But that's why I like to let y'all know it's so-called black man. But I use that to grab people's attention. That's the classification that they've given us, and that's what most of us identify with. So I use that to grasp your attention and to, you know, to be remembered. So when you're looking for me, it won't be hard to remember. Oh, let me go look up a determined black man. Yeah, it's a marketing strategy. Exactly what Trump is doing. A lot of different marketing strategies, but his bigger agenda. You know what I'm saying? Like the cuss the snap. How could he, as the chief of state, the head of this country, he could see, you know, he's a millionaire. He's a real estate mogul, you know what I'm saying? Entrepreneur. I'm sure he is aware of the economic woes that we're facing. And the fact that we have a starving country. America is hungry. And a lot of that is due to, like I told y'all in the last video, this bird flu and all this, these different diseases and bacteria that are forming in these plants where they producing this meat and stuff, chicken, cow. That plays a part. But honestly, it's bigger than that. It's much bigger than that. This is the American way. This is the capitalist way to create these different demand and supply prices. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing that you have to understand about demand and supply is, you know, if I tell you, if you stand in the line to buy something in the store, and it costs $1.99, you got your $2.13 out. You're ready to pay for it. And when you get up to the counter, the cashier announces that these are the last, whatever it is that you want. These are the last. But somebody standing behind you heard it. You know what I'm saying? But they happen to be rich. They happen to have a lot of money. Here you are just scraping nickels to get. Those are the last what? How about this? Well, I'm gonna give you $5 a piece. But here you are, barely able to pay the $2.13. What you think that does? That increases the market. That makes the market. That gives the market more value, which it really don't give it back. But it gives it a higher assessment.
Otherwise known as inflation.
It's why I tell y'all a lot of times that our economy is based on a bubble, a fake economy. And there's no way that it can continue to sustain it. Because what happens is we end up paying the cost. You know what I'm saying? And we still ain't the boss. Because the boss tells your ass to go out there and make the product. But he don't never ask you, or she don't never ask you, what should we charge for this? Ain't that funny? Because they okay, it's just like all this deportation going to force a lot of us back into the job workforces that we didn't necessarily want to be in. In doing so, what happened? To make up for the losses, these companies, they gonna get there. So knowing that we're gonna be forced back into those workplaces that we didn't want to be, they're gonna have to pay us to do that, right? Because we already got accustomed to being paid so much money, X amount of dollars. I said on one video that maybe it would force us back into the workplaces and we would have to take lower wages. But I think more into it, and see, that's why I'm open-minded, man. I'm not so closed-minded that I can't even go back on something that I had originally thought, because I continue to think about it. But they would pay us, let's just say for this job, that they were paying some illegal immigrant $5 an hour, they would pay us $15. They do that to give us competitive wage, something that would make us happy enough to come into the job. Well, in doing so, how do you think that your boss or the owner of that company is going to be compensated for that, triple up in cost for his employees? Because now he went from paying, let's just say, $100,000 a year in wage to now $300,000. You know what I'm saying? So his bottom line looks like it's under attack. Well, that's one thing about corporate America and rich people. They don't worry about shit like that. Because all he got to do is raise the price and tell you that it's rare. Then a bunch of rich people go out and buy it up. And then they'll still sell it back to the poor people at a higher price. So that's just how the game goes. But it's good for y'all to know that. So that you would be more conscientious in your decision making when you go out here spending your money. You'll do things that make sense more than just spending your money. Feel me? So don't just hoard money. Don't just take cash money, stick it in a hole, put it in the bank. Money, especially American dollars, is eroding swiftly. I don't care what they tell you. I talk to people in the military and swear by God that our military remain to be the strongest and woo of all time. A lot. For one, we don't have the money. We in debt to too many of our own enemies. The very people we fight against, the very people that we say we trying to protect our citizens from, are the very same people that we borrow from. So all we're doing is strengthening their economy. It's true, and continuously weakening ours because of debt. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand this stuff, man. All this stuff ties in together. That's why I'm telling you, it's bigger than just Trump declassifying these files, Trump terminating DEI. Yeah, that's major. But it is something going on way bigger than that globally, and we all going to be affected by it. Get ready. So I know all of y'all probably saw this already, but this tripped me out. And yes, I think it is exactly what he did and what he meant by it, because this ain't my first time questioning Elon's preference as to particular groups that have done nefarious things towards other groups. I put it
like come and go. Some elections are, important. Some are not. But this one, this one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you. It is thanks to you that the future of civilization
and in
is
fact, if you
assured.
don't think it was a Nazi salute, why don't you do it at Parents' Night next time you're at your kid's school? Or just do it now if you're at work and see what happens. I think that's probably the best way to test it. Make sure you do it twice as well, and make sure you hit your chest first before you throw your arm in the air. Just in case there's any confusion about what's actually going on beyond the kind of far-right sewers and the comment pages of various newspapers. Just do it next time you're on telly, if you're the kind of person that appears on Question Time, and see how you get on. And that's a moment, isn't it?
This one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you.
Or some people are telling me that he's giving his heart to the crowd, because we all do that, don't we? When we're trying to express our love for a crowd, we all accidentally do something that looks just like a Nazi salute. I'll read this from Will in Christchurch, because I think he probably sent it before I gave you that little history lesson. He writes, "Sorry to burst your lefty bubble, Jimbo. It's a Roman salute, not a Nazi salute. Elon is clearly saluting a modern-day emperor in Donald Trump." Mate, you didn't get the memo. You're supposed to claim that he's giving his heart to the audience, not saluting a modern-day emperor in Donald Trump. I don't expect for a minute that you will read this out, as it doesn't fit your... Any guess on what the next word is? Your woke lefty agenda. So Will's ended up defending Nazi salutes. I bet he didn't think when he woke up yesterday morning that he was going to go to bed arguing that there's nothing wrong with Nazi salutes, or that it's not. When is a Nazi salute not a Nazi salute? When Elon Musk does it. Musk writes, Alan knew exactly what he was doing, and he did it at exactly the time when he could do it under the guise of giving his heart out. Although I've never seen giving your heart out portrayed in that manner before. Simon says, of course it was a Nazi salute. He's so caught up in the nonsense of edgy online groypers, he forgot where he was. The man's a very dangerous idiot. Sharon reminds us of the Maya Angelou line, when people who show you who they are, believe them the first time. I have friends who are complaining because asylum seekers are being housed in a hotel near them and they can only sell their house for £850,000. Hey, we all have our crosses to bear. I don't know what question I asked you, but happily you're queuing up to answer it. Malcolm is in Older in Germany. Oh, that's helpful. Malcolm, what would you like to say?
Just to go on to the most inappropriate thing I've ever done.
Jesus, go on then.
Singing at a wedding.
Yes.
I'm a singer. Singing at a wedding with my zip open and my hands in my pockets, displaying my underpants.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that you could imagine that happening to Elon Musk. You know, we've all had unfortunate underwear experiences, or whatever it was that Janet Jackson said that time at the Super Bowl. But my goodness,
I believe him to be manic depressive. When he's down, he's down, and when he's high, he is unbelievably high, and anything goes by him. That was a Nazi salute. A definite Nazi salute. Everybody's talking about it here in Germany. People are aghast. They're walking around. First of all, this maggot of a man gets in to be president again. They found that difficult to believe. And now one of his advisors is going around giving a Nazi salute. We just come back from the shops and everybody's doing the Nazi thing. What angle it is?
What do you mean? You mean your German neighbours?
Yeah, my German neighbours, we're all talking to each other. Yeah, well, what angle did he do it at? And things like this, you know. It was a definite Nazi salute.
Yeah.
You know, some people are saying, no, it wasn't really. Of course it was. Definite Nazi salute. And James, I want to ask you, how on earth do you cope with this in doing the job that you do, the brilliant job that you do?
Well, I think I'm lucky. I think the fact that I can do this job makes it easier to deal with all the madness that's going on, because I get to speak to people like you every day. I don't have to sit staring at my television. I mean, I guess if I didn't do this for a living, it would be easier to turn it all off and walk away.
I'm totally in awe of you.
Oh, well, stop it. No, thank you.
No, it is how it is.
What kind of coverage is the story getting in Germany? I don't know how many papers you've seen, or whether or not this...
I haven't seen any. No, I don't read any papers, but going by today's market day here in the town where I live, and everybody's talking about it.
It would be illegal to do. You might be able to make a case in court and say, oh, no, it wasn't a Nazi salute at all. I was just saying hello to the crowd, or I was just pretending, what did that guy say, Will, in Christchurch? Pretending he's an emperor. He's an emperor. So, but you would get arrested for that in Germany, would you? If you marched into the town square now and did exactly the physical gesture that he did twice on stage yesterday. Yeah,
I met a guy here in a pub, and he came in and he said, we need Adolf Hitler again. And by going, what?
Yeah, well, I mean, the links between his support for the AfD and his behaviour on stage yesterday, I think, are it's important to point out. Although Soraya points out that I have bipolar disorder, James, manic depression, as it used to be known, and I have never in my life given a Nazi salute, either accidentally or on purpose. You know that that's not what Malcolm was suggesting. He was suggesting that in euphoric moments you may do things that you wouldn't do in other moments if you are minded to do Nazi salutes in any moments at all, which of course the rest of us are not. Most embarrassing thing you've ever done on a public stage. I'm not going to get a phoning out of that, but it just goes to show how ridiculous the claims are that he didn't do what we all saw him do. I wonder how many times that Orwell quote has been cited today. The one probably the second most popular Orwell quote on this programme, the one about ignoring the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was the party's final, most terrible command. Here you go. This is ADL, which is, I think, an American news organisation. This is a delicate moment. It's a new day, and yet so many are on edge. Our politics are inflamed, and social media only adds to the anxiety. It seems that Elon Musk made an awkward gesture in a moment of enthusiasm. Who here hasn't done a Nazi salute in a moment of enthusiasm? Kidderminster Harriers score against Oxford on Saturday. I mean, how surprised would you be to see footage of me on Match of the Day later, twice striking my chest with my clenched fist and then throwing my arm in the air in the style of a Nazi? Hopefully very, very surprised. 11:39 is the time. Joanna is in Deptford. Joanna, what do you think?
Hi.
Hello, Joanna.
Hello.
Oh, I don't think that phone line's going to work. We'll try and come back to you. Paul's in Croydon. Paul, what would you like to say?
Hey, James. Happy belated New Year's.
Yeah, very well. Thank you. You too.
Every time, last time I spoke to you was probably about American politics a few years ago. Well, anyway, let's build together. So, one, it was a Nazi salute. Two, there's a lot of really sort of awkward angles to this. He's not an elected official.
No.
I don't know what he gets up to. I don't know what what can I call it? What book's on his shelf, really?
No,
You
but
what I mean?
we know he thinks the AFD should be in charge here, and we know that he thinks Stephen Yaxley Lennon is some sort of freedom fighter, despite being locked up, of course, most recently for libelling a schoolboy.
Yeah, but it's still much more to a human being, and So in a few years' time, I could have voted him out. I can't vote him out. There's a good chance, how people are married to tech bosses at the moment. There's a good chance he could flip to being a Democrat in 4 years' time. They may not be able to get rid of him. He's not old. He's not an old guy either. He's like 55 years old. He's really powerful. Remember Trump when Trump said, "I can get away with shooting someone on Fifth Avenue"?
I can get away with doing a Nazi salute on the inauguration platform, and I won't lose a single vote.
Who's his pals on his WhatsApp group? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. Like you said, we know stuff, which is concerning. But he's not an elected official.
So there's nothing to do. I mean, I think that I don't know if this counts as optimism, but I think they're going to fall out on an extraordinary scale. He usually does. I think one of them's already one of the sort of not one of the very rich ones, but is it Vivek Ramaswamy, who was supposed to be helping Musk in the department where he said he was going to save trillions of dollars. I think he's already been shown the door.
Let me give you one more fear then. I don't even like being fearful, but one more concern. The ADL is actually the Anti-Defamation League in America, who do really good work on anti-Semitism and other race.
Yeah, sorry, of course it is.
Yeah. However, Trump's really powerful.
Yeah. Well, we know that.
You don't want to get him offside. Cool. They're not slow.
It's an unfortunate gesture. I guess the way to work out how feasible that is to count all the people who've accidentally given 2 Nazi salutes while intending to do something completely different in a very, very public place, while being an adult in full control of their faculties.
And your caller, the first one from Germany, again, I mean, I'm not liable anything, but, I think he said it himself, he like Silicon Valley, they're trying to stay up and work and be inspired. Like, who knows what he's up to?
I understand. Well, he's spoken about his ketamine. He has spoken about his ketamine use, if you're worried about that, if you're being sensitive about that. Some people suggesting that may have played a part in events yesterday, but I don't know if it really matters. If you did that in Germany, you would be arrested. If you did it here, you'd have a very difficult job persuading the authorities that you weren't a threat or that you weren't up to no good. And if you doubt it, then I mean it. Go and do it at work today, or just go and do it at parents' evening at your school, or when you pick the kids up from school later on. Just do a couple of Nazis. Do exactly what Elon Musk did, and then just tell them it was a Roman salute, and then explain the deep and profound historical knowledge you have that somehow creates the idea that is exculpatory, or that dilutes the impact of what everybody else has just seen.
And I think that it was just a salute. It was a pledge of an allegiance to let that group of people know that, and to be able to play it off and to say it was just this or that. Even the group of people that's been put in place, the people that actually govern this, the ADL, they even defended it. But just a couple of years ago, our good brother Kyrie posted a tweet about a book that described black people as being the original Jew or Hebrew Israelite, and he was condemned, wholeheartedly, lost deals, money, everything, and also which, as I told y'all in many videos, he's kind of like Trump, and he's a wild card. A lot of things he does, he exposes things. I like that part about him, but at the end of the day, I don't even know history with him, so I can't just jump on his coattails and act like I'm just gonna ride off to the sunset. Not got my own mind, and he flops too much to me. But that what Elon did, that right there, pledging his allegiance to those people, so that it can only further confuse the ones that's thinking that they're all about them, which are a lot of poor people. And believe it or not, you got a lot of judges, doctors, lawyers that are in affiliation with that stuff, y'all. I'm not gonna just keep saying it what it is, because you know how this stuff goes with the algorithms, and a lot of my videos have been shadow banned. I've been warned on some of my videos, just like the header in the deep, when I started talking about how they, both sides before the election. I was breaking down to y'all how both sides pandering to so-called black people with celebrities and entertainment. Don't come to us with policy or no type of enactment that they're planning to create to help benefit our community. They just pour it on with entertainment that they know that we are more attracted to. And, they put all the other stuff in books. But they know that, there's a popular saying that if you want to hide something from a black man, just put it in a book. So that's why I want to encourage all of you all to read at least 30 minutes a day. Enhance your thinking, enhance your vocabulary, enhance everything about yourself by reading. Because not only does it help give you a better vocabulary, not only does it help give you a better idea about things that you probably didn't have an idea about, but it gives you power. It gives you an ability, and the power comes in you taking that ability and actually using that ability to do something. So let's do it. But yeah, man, that's weird to me, man, that we could make excuses for something that was so blatant. I mean, not only did he just do it once, he did it twice. He made sure we didn't miss it. He had already had a pre-constructed idea as to how he was going to cover it up. Talk about he was giving us his heart. How? You trying to take the heart of America away and replace it with a robot. Stop. Can't fool me, Elon. Neither can you, Trump. But if it wasn't any more evidence as to where these guys are planning to take us or how they actually feel about us, then what you think about their 1,500 insurrectionists, those people that crashed Capital City January 6, 2020? What do you think about him pardoning those people, including the ones that cause harm to officers? Because as you know, he's also trying to give officers to the black community, which means they won't have to answer the next time they kill a black man like George Floyd, or black woman, or young man, Aubrey Taylor. The list goes on and on. Sad, man. It's really sad. Because, I mean, he also demonized CRT, critical race theory, which has been one of his things he's been pushing. And you see these Republican governors, like DeSantis down in Florida, he's advocating for it heavy, but they also out in Texas with everybody at all of them. They really excited, you know what I'm saying, about the pushback of CRT. And the thing about it is, it's kind of constructed now together with the LGBT movement and trans and all that. So a lot of people think, like, well, they got to do that so that they can get it back when it's just life between a man and a woman. You don't sit those dumbass down with that, because it could have been earmarked, and those bills weren't even created together. You know what I'm saying? So he just put that all on the table together. Your dumbass think that, he got to do that, to do this, do that, do that. No, those are two separate bills. Those are totally separate bills. They're going to wind it together to try to, like I said, a lot of us are played due to our ignorance and our lack of zeal for information. The information ain't no good anyway if you don't do nothing about it. But if you ain't got it, you can't do nothing about it. Seek knowledge, seek information, empower information, not the gossip, not the tea. Talk about something that can help you and me and our children to be, you know what I'm saying? The future. That's what we should be focused on, our children, the future. Man, our future ain't looking bright right now. And it hurts me to believe or even to think that, my child will have to suffer and go through a lot of things that I probably never even seen before, due to the fact that it was things that I knew that was going to happen based off 2 + 2. But I did nothing about it because I was too busy trying to keep everybody else happy during my lifetime. And didn't want to step on nobody's toes. See, me putting this out there, not only am I making enemies that don't look like me, it's a lot of people that look like me that's going to hate me for this. And there's a lot of y'all that went out there because, 12% more black men actually voted for Trump this time than they did the last time. Not saying we actually put him in there. I think it was like 85, 87% Caucasian men. But he didn't win by a large margin, no more than like 2 million, almost less than 3 million. So he didn't win by a landslide. And all it would have taken was, the sway of one of these groups or another, but I don't think it was black men. It won't make up enough of the voting class anyway. But probably take them and another one of the smaller groups, and we could have swayed it maybe the other way. But as I'm telling you, all of these parties are against us. None of them have our best interest at heart. Now, maybe true enough, Trump is fast pacing this time. But to be honest, where we are right now in this world with all the other nations, it's best that we see what's going on now than to wait till it blows up in our face. That's why I'm telling y'all that this is the best time right now for us to create what we need to do and how we need to come together and unify and build our own. There's no greater time than now, because it won't be long before all this shit hit the fan. Them putting all these sanctions and tariffs on all these different countries. You see what these countries doing? America used to be a bully where it could do that and actually get away with it because people was afraid because we was like the most powerful country, most powerful, most industrial. But that's no longer. They're not gonna tell you that though, because the one that we actually that was competing to be like us, they way better than us now. And that's China, and that's Japan. They way better than us now. And we owe them. You know what I'm saying? Those we owe like the number 1 and number 2 debt to those two countries. Places where we done fought war and lost. They ain't gonna tell you that either. We had to bag out of it. Remember? Go back and look at your history. Huh? Been several wars we lost. I ain't gonna talk about it. I ain't gonna tell you about it. Even though it's because of their selfishness and the greed. They doing this stuff out of greed. They don't do this stuff because it's they policing the world, or like they saying over in Ukraine, like Russia is a big country trying to take a little country. If that's the case, then what the hell the United States has done when we went to Afghanistan and Iraq? Or even, the war in Vietnam. Come on, man. Big country versus little country. But we still lost. Because you're being greedy. You're not fighting for humanity. You fight for minerals. You fighting to try to take something from somebody. Now, everything they done fought for, it's about to get taken from us. We falling apart. There ain't no way around it. There ain't no shake back like that. It ain't gonna it's just gonna go away. It's not. I'm telling you that. Not to pump fear in you, but just so you can get the facts. You can do your own research. But I want to spark this idea so that you can get the facts. Go get the facts. I believe in telling people to study for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't just listen to no preacher, none of that. I'm gonna study that biblical text in and out. I don't even listen to my mama about it. Just be real. I listen enough, but I gotta get my own. I gotta get it for me. She can spark ideas. She can say things now. I might see her post something on the internet. And I go there and start looking into it for myself. I'll call her and say, hey, what you mean about this? No. Because I got my own type of mindset. I got my own mindset. Therefore, I need to dig in this thing for myself to see what I come up with. So I'm encouraged to do that. But like I said, you don't see from the pardon of those 1,500 criminals, this coming from somebody that's been incarcerated himself. But to see that happen, to see him allow these people that cause harm, bodily harm to other officials. And not only that, if you go and look into these 1,500 people that went to prison, man, you'll be surprised. It's a large number of those people. Like I told y'all, racism and this Trumpism is way deeper than just a few radical people out there. You think there's, poor people that's out there spewing things out their mouths and running up in the Capitol. No, you got lawyers. You got judges sitting on judge seats, doctors, all type of politicians, and not only that, officers. I just ex-officers. I'm talking about active duty, military. Ex-military. I'm talking about active duty. Yeah, you got lawyers. You got judges sitting on judge seats, doctors, all type of politicians, and not only that, officers. I just ex-officers. I'm talking about active duty, military. Ex-military. I'm talking about active duty. Yeah, teachers. Yeah, they was all out there on that BS. Right. That's what I'm trying to get you to see. So that's why you have to be careful too. Because you might think that, I'm going to just call the police and I see them out there burning across my yard. But little do you know, they already got the okay before they even came. They already constructed together. That fraternal order is deeper than what you're thinking. I've been trying to get y'all to understand that. The police was developed and founded as slave catchers. And we ain't far from slavery. As a matter of fact, as I tell y'all oftentimes, slavery was never holistically abolished. It was only abolished on one side. But that Constitution, it speaks clearly when it says to me that a man can still be a slave if he is found guilty of a crime. So it says slavery is abolished, all except for in the case that a man is found guilty of a crime. Okay? So a lot of y'all gonna say, well, if a man commits a crime, he deserves to go to prison. He deserves to go to jail. That's what they do for criminals. But what about the fact that a lot of laws are designed and created systemically to target certain individuals, certain type of people, certain groups of people, certain areas? The census, all that plays a part for them to know how to construct and organize and manipulate. It ain't nothing just happening randomly. This stuff I tell you all the time. These people plan 25 to 2,500 years ahead of time. This is stuff that's been planned out by their fathers. And it's time for us to wake up, because our fathers, more than likely, a lot of our fathers didn't have understanding that we can get now. So they weren't able to empower us with it. And I don't blame all of them. Because you can only know what you're allowed to know, and you can only know what you have the opportunity to know. A lot of our people weren't granted those opportunities, which leads me to the next point about them trying to make everything a merit-based system. They saying DEI attacks them as well, because now they're forced to hire so many of us. But it ain't because we qualify for these jobs, it's just because the law demands them to. As I said, they wouldn't have created that law if it wasn't seen that it was a problem. But that's a whole nother story. That's funny though. It's funny, but it ain't. But that's the way that they do it. Now they want to paint themselves as the victim. How? You done robbed and stole and killed and beat and all this stuff you say. You go into these other countries to protect them from. You did it right here on this land. You continue to do it on other lands, and you will do it again. Because you're nefarious in the way that you act. You're nefarious in the way that you be. Your heart is filled with dirt time. You're harmful even to yourself. As long as you get to paint the last picture or create the narrative, you don't care. Because you don't have the same heart as I do. The forgiving heart that we do. I told you I was doing studies on the families of victims that have been brutally murdered by officers, or even in some cases where you have black men that were murdered by white women, and even their family members forgiving those people in court, telling them they forgiven them, asking them for hugs, all that. You think that it would happen the other way around? These people hate you just from the air you breathe. You think that it would happen the other way around? Very select cases, very few. But that's us, primarily. Yeah, they paint us as the vigilantes. Like I say, if they created the law, or they force you to live a certain type of way so that you can match the description of this particular law that they created, so that they can jam you up and give you all these years in prison. And they give us 30 years for having a half ounce of weed, which is legal in over 20-something states. Yeah, you got 1,500 insurrectionists, people that went into the Capitol and even drug people out against their will. Officers, you had one officer got drugged out, beat, now got brain damage to this day, had a heart attack. I ain't just covering for officers, but I'm just telling you. And those particular people were released. Oh yeah, by the way, one of those guys got murdered in Indianapolis by a cop too. After he just got released, he hadn't even been out a week. He got murdered already because I guess he probably felt privileged after the president pardoned him. I think he only had a 6-month sentence. But the fact that the president pardoned him, you couldn't imagine how radical that would make these people feel. How emboldened they are now. You think that they was emboldened for January 6, 2020. Yeah, you think that they were emboldened. Man. Pardoning those people from the insurrectionists, pardoning them only gave them more ammunition, more fuel for the fighters and soldiers. Those people feel more emboldened now than ever. Because, just think about it. You went out here and did something that you thought was right. Because a lot of them are ignorant. And they were thinking that they were doing something that was right. Because, the president was saying, oh, they robbed us. So you come up, you start planting these seeds in these people's head. People that are already vulnerable. That's why we keep ping-ponging between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. It ain't because one party is doing so much better than the other party. It's because we're looking for something. We want change. We want something different. That's why Trump won. That's why I told y'all he would win. Because I know what the American public is seeking. But what I'm trying to tell you is you will never get it that way. You will never get it that way. Because that way has been destroyed. The same as our economy. It's been destroyed. And it won't come back. It's over. Wow. Okay. Maybe I said something I shouldn't have said, but I'm gonna stand on it. But it's over. Life as we know it, or we have known here in America, life as we have known it here in America will be no more. Get ready, America. So I know y'all may have heard about the deportation in where Mexico president, she actually created a no-fly zone. So as we were flying some of the illegal immigrants back over there, their military presence, air presence, they flew some planes or some jets up there and told us we got to take our ass back to the United States. It's a no-fly zone. They declared a no-fly zone. So I don't know how this is gonna work out because I don't know if y'all understand. Like, I know a lot of people just like I said, a lot of us we operate out of ignorance. So we telling you, we got these different memes and things going on. You see on the internet, on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all this stuff. Yeah, send them back. Okay, let me tell you something about Mexico. Okay, yeah, true enough, it's a lot of illegal immigrants here in Mexico. Or it's even a lot of them that were born here that he's going to deem now illegal. So send them back, right? Well, those people come here, they work, and a lot of them send money back home to Mexico to their family, right? That money helps boost the economy in Mexico, right? Because those people go out and buy things they need, or they go shopping, or whatever, buy homes, whatever. Well, if you send all those people back over there, which Mexico, that's basically like 50% of their economy is based off of it. You send all those people back over there, that money no longer going over there. What you think that forced Mexico to do? Because once you send all them back over there, they already, and then not only that, take this for instance as well, the tariffs that he's threatening them with, which I don't know if a lot of y'all understand. Tariffs ain't nothing but taxes. Tariffs ain't nothing but a taxes that we put on imported goods that come from other countries. We tell them in order for you to import that over here to the United States, you're gonna have to pay us this amount of money. So you put a tax on it. And that also is going to be able to help protect American-based companies. So like the Fords or the Walmarts, Amazons, whatever, that helps protect them. Because now they can put, any amount of tariff on it if you want. You can say 100% tariff. So that means if it's a good that come over here that costs $1, now it's gonna cost you $2 because you're gonna have to pay China or Mexico, whoever, you're gonna have to pay them $1 and then you have to pay America $1 to let you bring it over here. And so that gets to be huge when you start talking about, let's say, a $50,000 car. You want to get the $50,000 car from China because they make some better cars, especially EVs. I ain't gonna tell you that, but they're gonna come from Ford and Chevys and the Teslas. You know what I'm saying? Because for other reasons. Okay? But let's just say you was in the market for it, you want to get a car from China. The car over there is selling for $30,000. Let's just say $50,000. Well, in order for you to get that car into the United States at 100% tariff, that means you're gonna have to pay $100,000. You have to pay $50,000 to China, $50,000 to the United States. So what does that force us to do? That forces us back into our market, where they can do the predatory things that I explained to you earlier about how they can shift the market. Because the demand and supply ain't always necessarily the issue. Is that you got a rich man up there that's willing to pay you more for it. And then so he gouges the prices because he bought it all up, and now he monopolizes it, and now he can come back and sell it to you for double himself, triple himself, and make triple the profit. And what that does to Mexico, as I was just speaking in reference to, what it does to Mexico is it forces Mexico out of industry. A few industries that they do have, a lot of the industries that's over there are ours because we send a lot of companies over there because of the cheaper labor. Well, I know it's hypocritical because it's a bunch of hypocrisy because now you're saying you're gonna put 100% tariff on those same companies and send stuff back over here. So if it wasn't those companies to close, they can't afford that. They can't compete. And the company they can't afford to keep those industries going because that's not the primary consumer. But when you tell the primary consumer you got to pay 100% tariff or something, then no, I just give me one from America. I just go ahead and just pay straight out $50,000 for one. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm just using it for example. So then what happens in Mexico is then you force the industry, industries to close. So now you got quadruple unemployment. You got double unemployment. You got the illegal immigrants that's been forced back over there. Now you got the industries that have to close down because they can't afford to compete with terrorists. Now you just got a whole bunch of people unemployed. No money coming in. You think about what happened next. I know there's a lot for to take in, man, but I just got to get y'all up on how this stuff going, man. I just got to get y'all up on I made a video And honestly, I think it was the devil. I gotta say it was the devil involved because that video was so on point in I hear every point like boom, boom, boom. Man, I deleted it trying to make space on my SD card so that I could download it. And I accidentally erased the whole file. And I was so sick, I was almost discouraged to even try to recreate it. But I had to. It was a burning desire inside of me. Right now, it's storming outside. And I should be doing something else. I should be at home in the bed. But I don't sleep much. Especially with all this stuff going on. Because my mind won't even rest like that. I maybe get 3 to 4 hours a day a night. That's on average. It's been that way for some years now. Because I'm constantly thinking, man, how can I help put this bug in people's ears so that we can spark a change? So that's where I'm at. With it right now. So with that being said, okay, then so Trump, next thing you know, you hear about him speaking about these cartels over in Mexico. And how he basically deeming them to be public enemies of the United States. Me personally, I think that's just another country, the way that they always do. Claiming that a country got weapons of mass destruction or something like that. So they go over there and kill everybody, take what they want. I don't know what all Mexico has to offer, what type of resources the land has, whatever, whatnot, but it's normally how it goes. Just stay tuned. So, I mean, just stay tuned. What else do we have here? Oh yeah, I'm gonna leave y'all with this. I know I've been going on for quite a while. Racism in America. Racism is at an all-time high by far. And I don't think it's going anywhere. It's only gonna get worse. Especially now you see, like I said, President Biden, 1,500 Goonies. Those Goonies got Goonies, and those Goonies got Goonies too. So it's a trickle-down effect. They all feel righteous in their cause. Got the high position of the highest position in this land, actually justifying what you did, even to the point of if you wasn't known, you wasn't even known for being out there January 6th. Now you go down in history, and you probably get a chance to meet the president, shake hands with him, have open discussion, whatever. Oh, it's emboldening these type of groups. You know what I'm saying? Several of these militia groups out there that's going to only grow larger and larger in number, and they are. That's why I try to encourage my people to understand the importance of togetherness. And all this killing one another, and all this disdain for one another has to stop. I know it's hard to see, but I promise you, it has to stop, or else we all gonna get it, man. We all gonna suffer the consequences. They're just keeping it frank. They're just keeping it honest. I gotta do that. So I think a lot of this stuff is distracting us from the bigger picture. You know, with the racism, Trump knows, that administration knows how big race plays a part in this country. And so why would you even want to try to tear down policy that helps to try and create some type of equality? Which it hasn't done. But it would have been better knowing that you got laws that protect you on your job. You know what I'm saying? Equal opportunity. And now you're just freelance. You're just out here. You know, he even fired the president of the EEOC. You know, the head man. So he really on the rampage, you know what I'm saying? But I think that it's all because of this one point I'm about to leave y'all with. I don't know how many of y'all are aware about BRICS Nation. A lot of times y'all may hear me speak about the murder of Gaddafi, and you know what I'm saying, how I just had so much bad taste in my mouth for Obama because of that. And the fact that they took a man out that I felt like was trying to liberate his country. I'm not saying that he was 100% right. I'm saying that he had a good idea, that he was going in the right direction with it. But of course, just like always, we find ways to demonize these people and we persuade the public that he's a murderer, he's this and he's that, and he's just trying to enslave his people. Always funny to me because you did it for 400 years and you continue to do it. But when it's someone else, then you want to demonize them. I don't like that. But BRICS Nation, y'all. BRICS Nation. Let me say something. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. Let's just look at it like this. The United States at this point in time right now, still a fairly strong economy. Don't get me wrong. It's not the weakest economy in the world right now. However, it's probably declining at the fastest rate than any other country right now. And would you take a guess who's growing the fastest? I would say probably India. But one of our major concerns with this thing is that recently Indonesia applicated and is now part of the BRICS Nation. It's major because At one point, he was all. And if you see what's going on, it's a trend and things, a pattern that's taking place. A lot of our allies, even as far as the side, BRICS nation. BRICS nation is the letters BRICS actually are the letters from I think the first 4 or 5 countries that joined: Britain, Russia, India, China, Africa. Anyway, they call themselves like the Great South. And what it is, just like America has the G7, got a group of nations that are all coming together to base their markets or their economy or their they're going to have their economy based off of the markets amongst themselves. So they don't have to depend on America anymore. You know what I'm saying? If we need rice, we'll go to Russia. If we need fuel, we'll go to Russia. Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? We need tech things, we go to China. So they all going to bounce off each other the same way that America played Big Brother for all these years. Now China, Big Brother. You know, a lot of these other countries borrow from China. China is building infrastructure in Russia, in Africa, and other places. Even here in America. And it's money that we borrow money from our enemies to build warships and planes and to send money to other countries that are fighting against countries that particular country that we have borrowed from is allies with the country that country that we are helping. We are borrowing money to help them fight against their enemies. You know what I'm saying? Fight against the friends to the people that we are borrowing money against. Let's put it like that. We borrow money from. We borrow money from China. Let me break it down. We borrow money from China to give to Ukraine, to help Ukraine fight against Russia, who is now in cahoots with BRICS nation. Is in cahoots with China. Yeah, they have an intertwine that ain't going nowhere no time soon. They the new United States. So just get ready for whatever falls behind it. These tariffs ain't gonna do nothing but force our economy into high inflation. That's how you get inflation. Get inflation by forcing everything, monopolizing, making these American companies have to provide us with services and goods. We can't give them nowhere else because the tariffs are too high. We can't afford to buy them from nowhere else. And then they come up with their own pricing. That's all inflation is. They come up with their own pricing. President Nixon, one time he actually spoke it up. I tell you, I do a lot of research, so I can't remember exactly the thing, but I think it was Nixon. He said that he put an end to inflation, and how he did so was he threatened that if somebody, if any of these companies was to raise their prices, that he would, just like Trump doing, he threatening our civil rights, and he's threatening school teachers that they teach the CRT, critical race theory, that he's going to create laws, and he's going to have DAs and district attorneys come after you. So that's what happened. They make threats. Some of them may stand, some of them may not. In fact, they even let you know that that's how they think. You know what I'm saying? It should be alarming to you. Anyway, I think I've said enough for now, enough for later. But I will see y'all later. I love y'all. I'm a determined black man, John Jay. You probably hear my voice. I'm actually getting tired myself. Had a long day today. Worked 12 hours. And I'm constantly trying to build myself up so I can get to a point where I can just 100% work for y'all, man. So anyway, y'all make sure you hit the like button. If you're feeling friendly, don't be too hard on yourself, but feel welcome to leave us a super or jump into the spread shop. Down below, jump in the spread shop, find you one of those designs that you like. Or you can click the link and go to the spread shop, and there's many more there. Or you can just leave us a Cash App or a PayPal. Your donations would be greatly appreciated. I mean, tremendously. I would love it because I actually need it to help grow this thing, man, and help push it out there further. I'll buy advertising and push these messages myself through advertising. And amongst other things, like to help build our community. Like, I really want to build a self-sufficient community where we're totally off the grid, and we have everything that's needed to sustain. Like a whole nother, we always like to talk about self-sufficiency. You know what I'm saying? Like they had, in Tulsa, you know what I'm saying, the Black Wall Street. We don't have to call it Black Wall Street. We can call it Black Walnut, whatever. You know But the thing about it is, we need to become more self-centered, so to speak. I ain't saying to be selfish, but we need to be, more selfless, more selfless and less selfish. So we need to, individually, we need to collect ourselves and collect our thoughts and come together collectively and build this thing up. You know what I'm saying? Instead of sitting back waiting on somebody else to do it, because nobody else gonna do it. Nobody else gonna do it. Our children, our future, and right now, the future is not looking bright. We headed in the wrong direction. So it's time for enough of us to come together so that we can point this ship in a different direction, back in the right direction. Anyway, I love y'all. I hope y'all stay up, y'all stay humble, y'all stay good people. As usual, until the next time I talk to y'all stay up.